All right, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I decided to take this outside because well, it's high 30s and kids running around. He's probably gonna invade on this now because he sees I'm doing something, of course,
Of
but
course, of course. Yeah, no problem. It looks beautiful. It is a sunny day here as well. I
it
don't think
is.
quite as warm as you, a little bit south of me.
Yeah, just a little bit. Hey, leave that alone, bud. Yeah. So, I guess I don't know if you looked into this show much or anything before, but it's kind of mostly an outdoor show,
A little
but
bit, I did.
yeah. But it's I just had to have you on because I saw you posting a few things of Mackinac Island, and I just kind of wanted to know because I've been to the island a lot, but I haven't really experienced like what living like there, much less living out there year round would be like. So, little
For
insight
sure.
on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to ask me questions? Do you want me just to kind of share about living on the island?
Yeah, yeah. If you want to start with that, like share about what it's like and kind of how you got into living on the island too, that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, a lot of people come to Mackinac Island for vacation and they have this idea that it's like this going back in time and, no cars and lots of horses and all of that. And then most people don't realize that, like, there are a few of us that live here year. A few of us, it's about 600 year residents. But then during those winter months, we do have a lot of people who come to the island and live here over the winter to do construction.
Okay.
So, um, but we are like we're a city. We have a school, we have a hospital, an ER department, a clinic. We have police, firefighter. It's like a little town. Year-round grocery store, a couple of restaurants that are open year-round, but in the winter here. And of
I
cars, so
I
how do we
think I'm
get
losing your
around in the
signal
winter?
here a little
And
bit.
oh, it's probably me. We have an internet outage on the
Oh,
island. Let me turn my camera off. Yeah.
okay.
So I'm working from cellular data. Let me turn the camera off. That sometimes helps with the signal. Can you hear me better
I can
if
hear you.
I'm
Yep.
talking? Okay. So yeah, things can be difficult when you're a little isolated with internet access,
Oh,
where
I bet.
because of the the weather conditions over the past week, we've had some internet outages, and we're on day two, so hopefully it doesn't go to weeks. It's done that in the past. Yeah,
Yep.
not so great. So like the biggest challenges of living on the island in the wintertime is access to things off the island. So like doctor's appointments or really anything other than what we have here that you would need to do on a regular basis, like picking up your prescriptions, or I just went prom dress shopping with my daughter off the island. Those types of things. If the boats aren't running and if the planes aren't flying, you're not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of locked down. I feel like it's so busy in the summertime and like even into the fall now. I know when I first started going up, I always preferred to go like mid-October just
Hmm.
because it was less crowded. But the last couple times I was up there, even then, it was like, wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's been this trend where that time of year, though yes, less busy, it's now becoming more busy for the fall. And it truly is such a beautiful time to come and visit. If you like
Absolutely.
the fall and cooler temperatures, it is really pretty. And things are mostly still open at that point as well.
Right. Yeah, but
Yes.
but I feel like you go from that where it's always constant chaos, without a break to it probably feels like you're in The Shining.
You know, maybe for more reasons than you expect, but yeah.
Hey, I
It's
actually used to be a ghost hunter, so if you want to get into that, I'm all ears.
Yeah. Oh man, there's definitely stories there. Well, the winter vibes, like after October, like November hits that weekend after, like that last weekend in October is the last kind of hurrah here on the island. Then after that, it goes into our winter mode, and a lot of people breathe a sigh of relief because they've been working at such a crazy pace
All
up
right.
until that point. Yeah. So our winter culture here is pretty cool. Like we're small town vibes, but you've got weekly bingo and karaoke and different craft classes and dance classes, and then our community theater is really active in the off season with putting on productions, and the school is super busy. So it really becomes a like small community hangout. We have euchre tournaments, like those types of things. So if you want to be connected, you can. But if you can't get out because, the roads are bad or you don't have a snowmobile and you can't bike because the roads are, too snowy, then
Right.
you can start feeling isolated. And this winter definitely was difficult for people with isolation because the weather was just so intense this year, as I'm
Oh
sure you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. It's been about the same here.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yes. So I've been on the island 4 years. So we're newbies considering some people have been on the island 9 generations or more. So,
Right.
you know, we didn't grow up here. I don't have family here. Our kids weren't born here. So we have a different perspective than people who just were born here and grew up. And so there is sometimes a culture difference there amongst the year-round residents that it brings, I think, a unique experience to life when there's diverse thought. But yeah, that can also, small towns have their gossip and
Oh yeah.
nobody's secrets are safe.
Nope.
Everybody seems to know everything. So it
Usually pretty quick.
definitely yes, yeah, yeah. And it doesn't even have to be true. If somebody
Right.
can just get a whiff of something and then all of a sudden now you're like, oh, I did that? Like,
Wow.
oh, okay. I had no
Awesome.
idea. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
So you
kind of
kind of got
like
to
me.
have a yeah. You got to have a thick skin
Oh yeah.
in that regard to be able to, face conflict if you need to, but not let it destroy you because it'll pass and then the new thing will be everybody's attention and we carry on and then you go into the summer season where now we're all just too busy to worry about what everybody else is doing.
Right. Absolutely. And so is the main town where all the tourists are, is that the town that you guys go to for groceries and everything too, or is there another town like
Yeah.
more for yeah? Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, so that is our downtown main area of everything. There are a couple other places that are seasonally open that during the off season or during the tourist season we can access, but in the off season not so much. So Stone Cliff is a big resort towards the back of the island by the airport, and that has things that, like a little general store and that type of stuff, but it's not open in the wintertime. So for those of us who do live in that area, and there's quite a lot of residential area back there,
Right.
we've got to travel all the way into town for our groceries. We do have the oldest grocery store in America here on the island, which a lot of people are shocked to hear.
Wait, Dowd's
Um,
is the oldest grocery store in
it's
America?
it
Wow.
is, yes. So there's like the oldest general store in America is in, I think, Massachusetts or something like that. Kroger, or was it Piggly Wiggly? One of those two is a contender for the oldest grocery store, and I think the difference is those are supermarkets versus grocery stores. So just getting
Right.
into the weeds of the details of
Yep.
what that means, but
So
yeah. So
I gotta
yeah,
ask
go
because
ahead.
I'm a big I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off
No,
there.
go for it.
So is there any like because I'm a big skier, is there any like cross country skiing or anything that people do in the off
Oh
season on the
yeah.
island? Oh yeah.
Absolutely. This year was great for it because we had so much snow. So there you got the cross country skiing trails, you have snowshoeing, and if you like hiking in deep snow, you could definitely do that. Ice
Oh yeah.
skating. The state park maintained an ice rink this year for us up behind the fort, which is cool. I
Really?
think it was, yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
state park property, but now that I'm saying that out loud, it might have been the rec department because we have a rec
Okay.
department as part of the island. I don't know actually how that works, but yes, if you like outdoor sports, we do have some here in the wintertime. No slopes
Right.
unless, some of
Well,
the hills.
you can earn your turns.
Yes, exactly.
I did hear a rumor that they used to have a ski hill on
They
Mackinac Island.
did. Yeah, back in the day, and the old ski lodge is a really fancy restaurant called The Woods. It's
Okay.
near Stonecliff, which I mentioned earlier, but it's part of the Grand Hotel Resort, even though
Oh,
it's
really?
nowhere near it. Yeah.
So did it actually have like a chairlift or a tow rope or something?
That I don't know. I think it might have. I don't think it was very big. That
Right.
area of the island, there is a really steep cliff that goes down to the water, so I'm not sure exactly where the actual ski slope was, but the lodge is like a short walk from my house.
Oh,
And it's really
wow.
pretty. It's really nice back there.
Yeah, I've explored pretty well most of the island. Every time I've gone there, I take my bike because you got to have a bike when you're there.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and I know like good. I'm just kind of gearing it towards the show. I definitely want to talk more about like what living on the island is like also with
Mm-hmm.
you, but I'm kind of gearing it towards the show. Like I know there's
Sure.
really good hiking and biking
Yes.
and all sorts of stuff, and there's some pretty good mountain bike trails once you get up past the
Yeah.
cemeteries and everything.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. There's great trails. I think people are surprised to realize how much elevation we have um, on the island, though I don't actually know how high it is in feet. But if you think of like a tiered wedding cake, that's kind of how the island is shaped. So as you get towards the inner part of the island, you're going up that whole way. So if you
Oh
think
yeah,
about the trails, we have like I think it was like 80 miles of trails or something like that in the state park. And really, really great terrain. If you like hiking, there's great, beautiful hiking trails and these I call them mystical forests. Obviously, that's not a technical term, but it just feels so magical, almost like Fern Gully um type of vibe. I'm like, yeah, this is where fairies would live if we had some.
yeah,
But
and it really does
yeah,
look like that because it's like
it does.
there's not a lot of brush in a lot of places, so it feels kind of
Right.
very yeah, it's really cool. And if you've never been to
Yeah.
Mackinac Island, I definitely suggest checking it out. You at least do a day trip. It not that expensive to do a day trip there.
For sure. Yeah, you can definitely do a day trip, family of four with parking and ferry tickets under 250. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
can if you don't get sucked into wanting to spend money at all the little things that are designed to get you to buy things. If
right.
you go there with like your backpack, packed meal, and your
Yeah,
bike, like you can spend the whole day exploring the island. Like you said, great mountain biking trails. You do have to be careful with the cliffs. We do have some pretty steep drop-offs, and have had some need for rescues because of that. People not realizing that there is a drop-off right there and walking right off. So do be careful
yeah,
with small children, I will say, but if you are aware of that, there are great, great trails right on that ridge, really around that northern part of the island. Gorgeous views, really neat rock formations. There's a rock formation called Sugarloaf. Most people know Arch Rock and will
yep.
see that on their trip. But if you venture a little further in and be a little more adventurous in which trails you go on, Sugarloaf is a cool one as well.
Sugarloaf is really cool.
Hmm.
Yep. There's it kind of has like holes that you could almost like climb in if you could get up there.
I know. I
Like
am a rock climber, and it is not allowed on the island. But yes, I
oh,
agree.
it's
I've
not
looked at
allowed
that.
anywhere on the island.
No, no.
Oh,
Yes, I maybe on like if you had private land, but not
right.
in the park. Yeah,
Yeah, for erosion and probably also limited resources if you need rescued. That probably is a
correct.
pretty
Yes,
good
we
reason.
we do have first responders with the police department and the firefighters, but I'm sure they're, probably want to reserve those limited resources for things like fires
Right,
and those types of things.
right. And yeah, you're a long ways off from a trauma center. Just keep that in mind.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's true. Like, yes, we have an emergency department, but it's very limited. It can do triage, it can take x-rays, but anything requiring higher levels of care, you have to be taken off the island. And like that, logistically year round can be difficult with weather conditions.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, like in the summertime, you get hurt and you need to be transferred off the island. Most likely, you're going to be going on a ferry in a stretcher, and an ambulance meets you at the dock. They do airlift off the island, but that is for like where minutes count type of thing because
Right.
it's obviously more expensive. And I'm not in that world of knowing why decisions are made. I just know that is something that happens. So adventure carefully when you're on Mackinac Island. And then
Yes,
we
but
have water sports too, like those are always fun.
paddling around the island would be awesome.
Yes, yeah.
That's something I've never done. I actually thought about getting a ocean or a sea kayak or something and paddling to the island. That'd be pretty fun, I feel like.
Yeah, we have a place that I think they're actually called kayak tours, and you can, do an excursion with them if you don't have your own kayak, and you can kayak around. A lot of people like to kayak to Round Island. Are you familiar with Round Island?
So is that the one with the lighthouse or
Yes.
yes, okay.
Yes. Yep, it's part of I think the Hiawatha National Forest,
Okay.
technically. But people will go there, and I don't know if it's allowed, but people do camp there. They'll kayak there or boat there and then camp there overnight.
Yeah,
Whether that is legal, I don't know.
I don't know, but who's going to enforce it, right? If there
Right.
I'm guessing there's not a lot is
I don't think rangers are patrolling.
no, not really.
No.
So and then I'm going to slaughter this and I'm from Michigan, but Boyd Blanc.
hmm Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, I think so. That's how I say it. I don't know if
Okay.
it's right either, but yeah, Boy Blanc.
Have you ever been there?
I have not. No. I know
That's a
that's a whole nother, yeah, resident island with less
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. Like, and it's like three times the size. And I've always been
It's
kind of
huge.
curious. And so are cars allowed on that island?
Yes, they have cars on
Okay.
that island. I don't know what infrastructure they have. I don't know if they have a school. I don't think they have a police department. The ferry I think goes out of Sheboygan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, that's like I remember I researched it once, but it was just like
Yeah,
well,
it's massive.
but either way, back to Mackinac Island. That's what we're
Mackinac
here to talk
Island.
about.
Yeah.
I'm spitballing. That's why the second name in the title is unscripted.
It's all good. No, no worries on my end. I love it.
So obviously you've been there 4 years now, and you
Yeah.
must like it then.
I do. The reason why I wanted to live here is, well, I work a remote job. I work in the field of psychological trauma. So like
Okay.
I'm a very professional job, very much in the world of high stress things. And I wanted to live in an area where it was peaceful. It was natural. I could see the water. I could experience the water. So like that was a huge draw. And then I really just liked the unique lifestyle. I liked that it forces you to be active
Yep.
because that's like I I would rather have purposeful action than just lifting weights, though that's a good thing to do too if you're into that. That is
Yep.
healthy. I liked that it was mostly a state park. I love national parks, state parks. Like I love just being outside and exploring. And so it's just so accessible here. And yeah, I like the history. It was just a draw all around. I will say affordable housing is a challenge here on the island, as
I
you
bet.
can probably imagine. Yes. Most people who come and visit and see the beautiful homes and then they look up on Zillow and they're like, "Holy cow, what in the
Yeah.
world?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
not much affordable housing there.
No, no, that is definitely the challenge for people who want to move to the island and who don't have, family history here or a $2 million budget to buy a house. Like
Right.
that is definitely a challenge. And so what I always tell people, if you want to move to Mackinac Island, come and do a seasonal job in the summer.
Yeah.
Housing is provided, some as part of the payments, like as your package from your employer or for like a very small monthly rent. And so you get that experience. And then while you're here, you make those connections for year-round employment. There are jobs available year-round that have housing, but they're not as many as the seasonal jobs. It's just you get your foot in, you see if you like it. If you like it, you talk and ask around and you find jobs. Most of us who move here move different houses a few times before we land in our permanent place because it's not easy.
Right.
And sometimes you have to wait for opportunities to open up. If you're adventurous and don't mind being a little nomadic, then it's doable.
So did you actually work on the island then at all, or did you just kind of relocate there?
I
Because
did not. I just relocated, but my partner, he found a seasonal job that got us some connections that allowed us to then live in a few different places here.
okay,
One of the houses we lived in before where we're at now, we're in a newer build, but where we lived for about a year and a half, a little over that, was a house built in 1822.
oh
It
wow,
was really cool. But if you want to talk about paranormal activity, that place, holy cow.
yeah, yep.
We
There's
had some
definitely some.
experiences there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the island is said to be a hotbed. I've taken the ghost tour and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I was really disappointed the second time I took it because Mission Point kind of shifted away from it and they weren't including it in the
Okay.
tour anymore. Whereas the first time it was right at Mission Point, but and
Interesting.
that's
Yeah.
said to be one of the more haunted places on the island, I believe.
That's interesting because people, I know I hear people say that. In my experience is the opposite for me personally. I know like the theater was said to be one of those super haunted
Yeah.
places, and I'm very involved in the community theater here, so I do a ton. I've spent hours and hours and hours in that theater and have experienced nothing but right around the corner, there's Small Point Bed and Breakfast. That place
Yep.
has had some things going on there. But even just like walking downtown at night, I've seen things in windows, taken pictures. Yeah,
Yep.
in the woods, and surprisingly in our new place that I didn't expect anything in this area, but then again, like, we're on the island that has
Yeah.
hundreds of years of history. So,
Natives, and then you
yeah.
have they had a battle there, and like I know they
Yep.
say where the battlefield was, but
Yep.
you don't know where it actually like.
Right. I'm not too far from that battlefield, so I wonder.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, people get shot, they run off for a while, and like you never know. I
Yeah. Also back there, going back to, outdoors and nature, have you heard of the crack in the island?
have not.
Yeah, so it's another rock formation, and it's literally called a crack in the island because that's what it looks like. And you can hike if you there. I can't think of exactly how to describe where it is. There are maps that you could Google crack on the island, Mackinac Island, and find it. But it's a little short hike into the woods, and then you can walk down into this crack. It's maybe 5 feet deep, and it's just kind of neat. And it's
Okay,
one of those things a little more out of the way. Not many people are there. If you want to have an adventure and not be around tons of people, checking that out, I think it's pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. And I always liked biking around the entire island.
Oh
That was
yeah.
always fun, just around the loop, and then you stop at Rock, walk those
Hmm.
7,000 stairs or whatever, however many it
Yes.
is.
It feels like 7,000.
Yep. Yeah, that's like it is definitely like you got to be a little more creative with your
Hmm.
outdoorsy. You don't just have like this is the bike path and this is the ski trails and everything like that.
Yep.
I'm sure that's how it is. I'm sure the ski trails are pretty obvious in the wintertime, but
Yes. Yep.
but you got to be willing to search for it a little bit.
Yes. It's that adventurous spirit for sure. Really, in most areas in life living here, that's the case.
Give me just 1 second. I think my
Okay.
dogs are starting a fight with the neighbor dogs.
Yeah, they took off.
Hey, come on, Loki, Loki, in the yard. Loki, come here. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We live on almost 3 acres, but we got
Oh,
neighbors
that's
on all
awesome.
sides. And the good thing is, like, I'm off the beaten path, so we can just let our dogs run and everything, and everyone else does too. The bad thing is, sometimes the dogs don't always get along with one another.
Right. That's the truth.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, so I guess, are you from Michigan originally then, or?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I grew up in Metro Detroit.
Okay.
So I spent my childhood hiking at Stony Creek Metro Park and
Yep.
summer vacations, Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, Empire, that
Oh
area,
yeah.
backpacking, North Manitou Island. Those were my childhood
Oh
stomping
really?
grounds.
What's
Yeah.
that like? That sounds awesome. I want to
Oh,
check that out.
yeah. That it's an easy backpacking adventure in the sense of like there's a water spigot on the island, so if you didn't want to have to filter your water, there
Yep.
is a well, so you have access to water. There's some pit toilets, so if that's a need for you that's
Right.
there. And then about a mile from the ferry, when you get to the island, I can't remember how long that ferry ride is. It's longer than Mackinac Island, but when you get there, you can hike about a mile, and there's some established campsites with fire pits and pit toilets. So
Okay.
if you just want a day hike from there, that's great. Or you can hike into the island and see some abandoned structures, and hike, or camp at, it's in the wilderness. I think it's really beautiful. It feels secluded. It's not too hard of a hike. Lots of really pretty things to see. Yeah, I really enjoy it. When my kids were like 4 and 5, we took them backpacking there for the first time.
Okay.
And it was obviously a challenge because they were little,
Yep.
but they did great. We camped at that campground about a mile in, and then we did day hikes with them, and that worked really well.
Yep. The actually she just brought my wife just brought in her pack that she ordered because we're gonna start doing some backpack trips here
Oh,
shortly.
fun.
Yep. I mean I was in the Marine Corps, so I've definitely done them
Yeah.
in the past, but it's a whole new world to her. She's tent camped, but just
Yeah.
set up a
Okay.
tent and here it is. Whereas now she's gonna be hiking, and I think she's gonna really enjoy it. Hiking overnight
Yeah.
and carry everything in, carry it out, and we're also setting up to do some of the same thing only on kayaks as well. So
Oh, fun. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's going to be another part of this channel. I'm really excited. I mean, I started it this winter, so basically everything that anyone's seen has just been skiing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
because that's what's happening.
right, but yeah, starting this spring, like yeah, so I'm really interested in hearing all about that. Have you ever been to Isle Royale?
I have not. My dad used to solo hike there all the time. That's definitely like I would love to be able to get there this summer. It's just so hard to coordinate because it's such a far distance, and then
It's very
that's
far.
like a 6 hour ferry.
Yes.
But yeah, he had so many wolf and moose encounters when he would solo hike, and has some amazing photos from that. That is a more difficult terrain for hiking. They do have a
Oh yeah.
hotel on the island, as you probably already know. But yeah, I definitely want to get up there.
Yeah, it's probably a lot like the Keweenaw and everything like that. I would imagine
Yeah.
for terrain where it's really rocky, up and down, and
Hmm.
but yeah, that's like I feel like that anyone who's interested in hiking in Michigan, that's like
Yeah.
that's their dream right there.
Yes, yeah, for sure. It's definitely on the list of must do's
Oh, I bet.
at some point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, right there with you on that one.
Yeah.
So I got a question about Mackinac Island though, because I know they say you're not allowed to overnight camp, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But what do you do if you miss your last ferry?
That's a really good question. I would say I don't recommend that for anybody because you need to find a place to stay and it's going to be expensive. Like it's just
Or
not
sold out?
idea or sold out. There are a ton of bed and breakfast and hotels. Like I think you would be able to find something, but it might be Stonecliff, which is 2, 3 miles away from town and $1,400 a night. Like you don't want to be
Yeah.
in that spot. I really
I
don't know
I
what
think I
other
would
people
just
do.
walk around till the first ferry at that
Yeah,
point.
I guess technically you could sleep like on the dock, maybe. I don't know technically what you could do, but I would imagine you'd be full of spider webs
I
and dewy.
I don't feel like it would technically be overnight camping if you just walked around till the first ferry.
This is
You
true.
just be sightseeing it. Nothing says you can't sightsee after dark,
Right. Absolutely.
except for
You're
in the places where you're not allowed to sightsee after dark.
true. Yeah, no trespassing. But yeah,
Right.
like you could hike all night long if you wanted
Yeah.
to. That's true. You just can't pitch a tent.
Correct.
Yeah. Lots of
Yeah,
people
that's
like to bring hammocks and hammock on the island. That is allowed, and it's really there's some beautiful spots to do
oh
that.
yeah. Like all over. pretty
All
much
over.
pretty
Yeah,
much the whole
great
island.
trees. Yeah, exactly.
Like there's hardly any places on the island other than I would say, I guess, the east side that you can't see the Mackinac Bridge.
Right. Yeah. No, but you can see Round Island, which is really beautiful, Bois Blanc,
Oh
and
yeah,
the sunrise is gorgeous on the east side. You
definitely.
can see
Yeah.
lots of ships because that's like right on that shipping lane, so big barges. You can see from there. Some still beautiful views, just not the bridge.
Right. But yeah, I mean, all around the island, it's just, and the one thing I've noticed every time when I've stayed an extended amount of time there is you get used to it a little bit once you get back to the mainland and you're sleeping, even like where I'm at, out in the middle of nowhere or whatever. It There's a lot more noise
Yes.
than there is when you have no vehicles, no anything like
Yeah.
motorized.
Yeah. You just a clip clop of horses.
I know the last day I was there, it was the last day of the season. The Mission Point was open the one year, and they had a bunch of construction vehicles come in to do some
Oh
work.
yeah.
The last morning we were there, and I woke up, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
This is not why I came here. Yeah. It can ruin the vibe for
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean, that's kind of the give and take you get with
Yeah.
going there late in the season. It's cheaper and less crowded,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you're probably going to run into a couple construction vehicles.
Oh yeah. And like right now, like there's construction projects still going on, and this winter everything really got delayed because of the ice bridge.
Right.
They couldn't bring all the freight over. So yeah, you come to Mackinac Island right now, you're going to see construction projects and like big cranes and those types of vehicles because they get special permits this time of year to be able to work in certain areas.
Yep.
So definitely right now is not the vibe for the magic of Mackinac Island. I still think it's wonderful, but it's just people are trying to get ready for the season. And
Yeah,
so
everything has to be
y-
maintained somehow. You got modern
yeah.
conveniences in a place living like the 1800s.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're
Uh,
we're not a reenactment museum, so we
right.
do get to still live life. We just have restrictions due to, I guess, laws.
Ordinances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ordinances. That's the word. Yep.
Yep. I know, like, the workers were like, oh, yeah, they horse and buggy all this stuff and build it by hand when they build new constructions. And I was like, no, they don't. The one time I was like, you're paid to say that. I know you're being told to say that.
That is hilarious. The drays do bring equipment. Like that is, unless it's something like a module house, or the school had to bring, I forget how many tens of thousands of pounds of mulch. And they had trucks do that.
Yeah.
But if you have like bags of cement or cinder blocks, that's all coming on horse and dray and
Yep.
has to be unloaded. If you have a crane on site, you can unload it with a crane. But yeah, it's the horses are bringing it there for the most part.
So one last thing I do have a question about before I let you go here.
Hmm.
So I heard like there's a Christmas celebration on the island.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Our
that was something I
Christmas.
always wanted to do because I feel like
Absolutely.
that would
It's
be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is the first weekend in December. It's called the Christmas Bazaar, and it's actually a fundraiser weekend for our medical center and has become in recent years a popular tourist event, which I love. So we do that Friday, we do a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. So think like Whoville. We're standing around a tree singing Christmas carols, drinking hot cocoa, and then a kid from the school turns the lights on because they won something, and that was their prize.
Okay.
And then there's more things to open, a little more things to open than the off season during that time.
Right.
So there'll be different restaurants and some shops and different events during that time. And the biggest thing is our Christmas play that we do.
Okay.
So definitely, if you check it out, like it's fun. And the last couple years, it's been very snowy, so it's like super beautiful.
That I think it has
Yeah.
to be. Like I think I would
It
cancel my
isn't always,
reservations
yeah.
if it wasn't snowy.
Yes, yeah. And there are limited places to stay
Right.
during that time. So if you are thinking about it, like plan 6 months ahead
Yeah,
and
I was
book
about
a
to say start
spot.
planning now.
Absolutely. Yes, because those spots go fast.
Absolutely. Well, was there anything else you wanted to add? We're almost out of time because my thing
Right.
will
I got
cut us
five
off
minutes
at.
before it
Yep.
turns off. Yep, mine too. Yeah. I mean, if you love adventure and you love outdoor sports, like Mackinac Island, you may not recognize it, but really is a fun place to explore. You just have to go beyond downtown and into the island. Bring lots of water. I still would say make sure somebody knows where you're at. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
small island, but like I said, we've got cliffs. You can easily get turned around. Eventually, yes, you'd find the water, but it's just in case you roll your ankle,
Yeah.
have have a plan in place. But it is, I think, a wonderful place to come and have some adventures outside of just typical touristy things.
Yeah. And then after that, there is touristy things to do, so you can
Oh
grab a
yeah.
beer afterwards on the island.
You sure can. Yeah,
Yep.
go have a rugged adventure and then dine somewhere on the water. It's
Yep.
a win-win.
I mean, there's only what 1,000 places to grab a beer on the island.
Oh, there's quite a few, yes.
All right. Well, perfect. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and
Yeah, thanks, Brace, for having me.
absolutely, it'll be interesting. I'll stay in touch, and it'll be interesting to see hear how the summer goes and everything up there.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Have a good rest of your day.
Yep. You as well.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.